In February 2026, Bangladesh, a nation of over 170 million people, heads to the polls in what analysts describe as one of the most consequential elections in its recent history. Positioned at the intersection of South and Southeast Asia, bordered by India on three sides and Myanmar to the southeast, Bangladesh's internal stability carries weight far beyond its borders. Yet as global attention remains fixed on conflicts in Europe and the Middle East, a quieter but significant political transition is unfolding in Dhaka, one that carries real implications for regional security, migration, and the broader balance of power in South Asia. The post-Hasina political environment has left Bangladesh in a state of structural uncertainty. The departure of Sheikh Hasina, who governed for over a decade with a firm grip on state institutions, has created a vacuum that multiple political actors are now competing to fill. Among the most notable developments is the growing electoral and organizational influence of Jamaat-e-Islami, the country's principal Islamist party. Long restricted from formal participation, Jamaat has reasserted itself in the current political opening. Its expanding role is reshaping coalition dynamics and forcing other parties to recalibrate their positioning. The result is a fragmented landscape, one where alliances are fluid, institutional guardrails have weakened, and the rules governing political competition remain contested. Few external actors are watching this election more closely than India. New Delhi has historically maintained a strong working relationship with the Hasina government, viewing political stability in Bangladesh as essential to managing its eastern flank. India's concerns are concrete. A destabilized Bangladesh raises immediate questions about border security along a frontier that is already under pressure from irregular migration and cross-border movement. A shift toward a government less amenable to Indian interests, or one with different regional alignments, could alter long-standing bilateral arrangements on trade, water sharing, and security cooperation. Beyond bilateral concerns, New Delhi is also watching whether political instability could generate displacement pressures similar to those seen during previous periods of Bangladeshi political crisis. Inside Bangladesh, where the information environment has become deeply polarized, political messaging campaigns, operating across social media platforms and traditional media channels, are intensifying ahead of the vote. Competing narratives about legitimacy, identity, and national direction are being amplified in ways that raise the temperature of public discourse. This matters because elections in Bangladesh have historically been followed by street-level unrest when results are disputed or perceived as illegitimate. The conditions for such an outcome, political polarization, institutional uncertainty, and active information operations, are present. Analysts are careful not to predict violence, but the structural risk factors are observable, and the mechanisms that previously contained post-election tensions appear less reliable in the current environment. And Western governments, including the United States, face a familiar strategic dilemma. Bangladesh remains a significant partner in counter-terrorism cooperation and regional security frameworks. That relationship creates incentives to prioritize stability over public pressure on governance and human rights issues. Washington's calibrated approach reflects a broader pattern seen across the region, where strategic considerations tend to outweigh democratic conditionality when core security interests are at stake. European governments face similar calculations, particularly around migration and development assistance frameworks. The practical effect is limited external leverage on the conduct of the electoral process itself. Bangladesh's February 2026 election is not simply a domestic political event. It is a test of whether a major South Asian democracy can navigate a difficult transition, and whether regional institutions and global partners have both the interest and the tools to support a stable outcome. The result will influence the political direction of a strategically located nation, shape India's security calculus to its east, and potentially affect migration dynamics across the subcontinent. Elections, by definition, produce outcomes. What matters here is not only who wins, but whether the institutions and the regional environment can absorb the result.